Okay, so the question is, how does Serverconsole actually work? Well, let's have a look at the application itself in Visual Studio C#. As you can see that we've got a Windows form with tabs, and each of those tabs performs various different tasks. I mean, if we look at the Transfer Folder tab, and you'll see that we can select a shared folder on the server and a destination folder on the PCs, and we've got a debug window. Now, the use of that will be shown later on. And we've got a transfer button. Let's have a look at the code for the transfer button. Now, the transfer button calls a method called transfer_files, and this is the method transfer_files. We first of all start by defining some strings in C#. Then we build a PC list. Now that's taken from the list of PCs that we have in our box on the right hand side, which is a list box, and so the ones that we've selected. And then the string command 1 is set to the PowerShell script $password equals convert to secure string, etc, etc. Now that is a piece of PowerShell script there. Now $password is basically a variable within PowerShell, and what we're doing is we're converting a password which we've obtained from elsewhere to a secure string. And then the string command 2 is set to another PowerShell variable, which is going to be a new object, a system management automation PS credential object, which is going to be consist of our username and encrypted password that we've taken from the $password. Then command 3 is going to be another PowerShell script commandlet using invoke command, and it's going to be invoked on the computer name and our PC list. And then we're going to run a script block. Now a script block enables us to run a script, a series of scripts remotely on another PC. And we're setting a new network object, and we're going to, command 4 is going to be set to PowerShell script which starts with mapping a network drive, which in this case will be to a U drive, and to our temporary folder. And then we're going to use our local credentials, and command 5 is using the commandlet copy item, and we're taking the contents of our temporary shared folder and we're sending it, copying it into the target folder. And we're using our credentials that we used, consisting of our encrypted password and username that we created in command 1 and command 2 above here. Now simply then we create a new PowerShell script. We concatenate all of those strings together into one command string, and what we're doing here in this code is we're outputting the contents of that command to a debug window, but we're removing the sensitive information. We're just replacing the sensitive information like the username and password with just a generic pass and user, etc. Now then we simply add our commands to the PowerShell script, and we use ps1.invoke to invoke that script. So that's simply it. So all you need to do really is to build your PowerShell commands. You create a new PowerShell script, you add the commands to the script, and you just invoke the script. So there's just 3 parts to it there really. And if we look at what the debug window is doing, you'll see how useful that can be. If we start the program, okay, now let's have a look at the transfer folder function. Now we just simply need to select a shared folder on the server and a destination folder on one of the remote PCs. and we'll select a PC to send that to. Let's go for PC 21. Now if we transfer that folder, we see that the PowerShell script that will run that transfer action appears in our debug window. Now that's quite useful, because if we want to troubleshoot that script, we can take the contents of that debug window, we can put it into a text file, give it a .ps1 extension, and we can run that script externally to our program. And that means that we can test the script before we get it working properly within the server console program.